Hello everyone, and welcome back to the next round of the Unimaginary Theater, a Genshin tournament hosted by Furu on his server, Furu's Teapot. To recap the rules, every 2 days starting from the Abyss reset, we have a ban period followed by a submission period. During a ban period, both players participating in the tournament and non-participants in Furu's server will be able to vote up to 3 characters to ban from subsequent runs, excluding the Traveler. After 12 hours, the votes are tallied, and the 6 most voted characters will be banned for the remainder of the tournament. If multiple characters tie for the top 6 positions for these votes, they will all be banned. Participants for this Unimaginary Theater then have 36 hours to submit a run showing a clear on Chamber 1 of Floor 12. For the first Spiral Abyss of version 5.4. Across the 2 teams used, the sum of 5-star weapons and their refinements cannot exceed 3. However, unlike weapons, there are no limits on character constellations, and if a participant's submission from the previous round doesn't use any newly banned characters, they can choose not to resubmit a run for the current round. Points are awarded for how quickly the chamber was finished, based on the in-game timer. On the screen are the point values a participant can receive for their run, with the highest being 65 points for a clear under 60 seconds, all the way down to 10 points for a clear under 500 seconds. Each round also has a progressively increasing multiplier to match the difficulty of clearing the chamber with a continuously dwindling pool of characters to choose from. These rules were created to promote both horizontal and vertical investment, to level the playing field as much as possible between different accounts. To advance to the next round, players need to submit a 2-star run for the current round. Those who are unable to can no longer participate in the remainder of the tournament. And that just about sums up the rules for this Unimaginary Theater. Now, let's take a look at the scores and character usage rates from the last round. Hello everyone, and welcome to round 8 of the Unimaginary Theater. I am Saffron, and with me today is Harokku.
Hello, hello.
Now, quite a lot of characters have been banned now. There are probably more characters banned than there are available. So, with that said,
We've passed the halfway point a while ago, yeah.
Yeah. With that said, let's look at how last round went. We have, unsurprisingly, Johan being 2 time brackets ahead of everyone else, I believe.
Yes, actually, yeah, that is actually true. There's so many points.
If I recall, his second half wasn't that much stronger than everyone else's, who ran the exact same thing. It was his first half which really made the difference. Because he was able to run freeze, and the C2 siege wind he ran was pretty significant for his Ayato's damage, because C2 siege wind does hydro resistance shred for enemies.
Oh, okay. I was seeing the trend of the freeze team in the second half being basically the last thing that's available for single target DPS.
It's not freeze, it is mono cryo.
Yeah, the mono cryo. Shanha, please help us. Do something.
Mono cryo, yeah.
2 patches, 2 whole patch, and we need you now because everything else is banned.
Also, the rare Rev Melt in 5th place with the Icent. And then further down the order, we have a Noel double Electro setup with TarZ.
Thunder Rock?
Yes, Thunder Rock. Electrifying Pebble, or whatever weird and wonderful names you want to give a team like that. We also had Tsufina whip out their C6 Siege Wind, I believe.
It's your last, or one of your last opportunity to bring out the Siege Wind, and not many people have her, so since Johan pulled out his Siege Wind, it's gonna get targeted anyway.
Yeah. Beyond that, a lot of Burgeon from myself and Chica, the rare Aggravate Taser setups, got Mono Anemo setups.
So I guess a Gene fall damage abuse.
Yeah, that's not Mono Anemo, that's Gene Cheese. Gene and Anemo Traveler Cheese. This is foreshadowing, by the way.
We've cast, so with the Chongyun. So you have the cooldown reduction.
Oh yeah, cooldown reduction and like cryo application helps a lot.
I guess Fofi's doing the same thing?
Yeah. And not much different in terms of what we see.
With a Eula at 12. Eula and Mono and kind of another Geo comp.
Fair amount of Geo comps further down the order, and then of course the Eula, like you mentioned. Interesting choice to run the Kave from Turtle Camera. But from what I understand, that Kave was only there as a cheerleader.
And 21st for our last competitor, he told.
Yeah.
The last of the Fridge team? I guess
yeah, that is a Fridge team.
What's even doable at this point? I don't know how effective this is, but
they survived. That's all that
matters.
matters.
All that matters is we're under that 300 seconds.
Rosaria and Kaya unsurprisingly used a lot.
Yeah.
Especially on the second half. Chongyun very much used on both halves as well. It's like in the first half, people used him Animo cheats, and on the second half, he was there to enable other cryo units for mono cryo damage.
Or even as the DPS. And
True.
Again, the cooldown reduction is always good. His burst damage is non-negligible, especially with the Shenhe's buff.
His burst damage is pretty scary if you build him correctly.
Eido as well, quite a good placement. And again, for the first half, we've seen a couple of the surviving Taser teams.
A lot of Taser, a lot of Animo, a lot of Cryo.
Yeah, and some of the... Yeah, a bit of the Dendro teams as well are still like hanging out, even though we don't have the more powerful unit like Fischl or Yae, etc.
Yeah. Now, with that said, we need to look at what's banned for round 8.
Yeah.
And my god, it is a massacre. Because 8 characters need to be banned, right? But
it was extended to 8, I think. Either this round or the round before.
Yeah, but look at the tie. Look at the 4-way tie.
It is a 4-way tie at 8th place, and per rules, any amount of ties means we just get rid of more characters. So yeah, this round is a massive minus 11 characters, and as we can see, Jean, even though she's only been on a couple teams and not even the top team, people don't want to deal with that playstyle.
Not everyone has Jean, and
that's.
Not everyone has C1 Jean.
Oh, you need C1 to do the...
You don't need C1, but C1 improves the efficiency of her skill.
Of the skill, so yeah. Because basically the cheese we're talking about is where you use the skill to grab all the enemies and you toss them in the air, and when they fall down, they get insane fall damage. That is completely irrelevant of your artifacts and everything, I'm pretty sure. You just get quote-unquote free, easy damage without the need to hyper-invest.
Yeah. Ayato, Sijuin, Shenhe, Rosaria, Kaya, no surprise there.
Yeah, the last of the good DPS characters, basically. And Albedo, because the Geo team is starting to pull up. And Shiori is already removed from way, way back in, I think, round 2. Because of the C6 Shiori that scared everyone.
Child, surprisingly removed. I believe it's another precautionary sort of ban that people felt like they needed to do because people are increasingly reliant on Hydro characters.
Yeah, both Hydro characters being one of the best elements, so you want to remove any options. And Child is also one of those lesser used now, but still scary DPS.
And I believe Baiju was banned for a very similar reason, because if he wasn't banned, he'd be very useful right now. And not everyone has him.
Yeah, good Dendro option. Few people have him. Another good reason to get rid of him.
Noel caught in the crossfire here.
Yes, so.
Though
I mean,
it does make sense.
He's the best Geo DPS left, I guess. Ito's already gone.
Sethos, yeah, because we're slowly approaching the end game, so people are like, oh god, what do I actually ban without hurting my own chances, Timur?
Yeah, because even if there's like maybe 30 characters left, how many of those characters do you even have? And of those that you have, which ones are even usable on your account? You probably have a Chi-Chi, but she's also probably level 1 or level 20. Are you really gonna just build a Chi-Chi in 2 days just to get a time?
Nah, she'd win. Shall we look at the top 10 for round 8?
Yes, let's go. Let's go for the top 10 runs. First off, we have crests with a taser. I guess no, it's not a taser. It's a aggravates.
Aggravate.
Yeah, animal aggravates. With some of the last good characters for this AoE.
This is
We
like
don't have official, but it's
this
fine.
is like aggravate with a box of scraps and hopes and dreams.
Yeah, it's like you've seen teams, aggravate teams. A lot of them usually have the DPS, like your high damage characters, either the Electro one or sometimes the Animo one that just abuses the reaction of the off-field DPSs. But we don't have the Kazuha to like spam like do double swirl or like even use TTDS, not TTDS, fuck, Thunder. What is the Thundering?
Thundering Fury.
Thundering Fury, yeah, that's the one. And we
Yeah.
don't have official to really abuse the Electro spam.
But yeah.
But it's working out.
I'd say it's working out, but on the other hand, we're at the point where most people, like Crest
Mm-hmm.
here, need at least a rotation and a half to fully clear each wave,
Yeah.
which
Starting
is
to get awkward.
incredibly painful.
Yeah. Most of the runs up until probably last week is the last week where we probably aren't gonna see a lot of 1 minute clears anymore. So yeah, it's gonna be some weird like half rotations and the positioning becomes increasingly more important.
Now this team is
That is kinda hype.
this is they're doing the best with what they have. Like they're running
Yeah.
forward melt Diluc. They have not really all that many animal units that they can make use of. Plus animal units aren't really as useful in the second half because of how multi-wave everything is.
Mhm.
So running Kachina to buff pyro damage can likely be a better choice.
I mean, Scroll is just that good.
Yeah. Layla and Charlotte
I mean, at this
seem
point,
to be okay enough cryo application to keep up with Diluc here.
yeah. I mean, your cryo options at this point, you have Mika, Aloy, Eula, Chongyun, Chi-Chi, Fremine, and those two. So I guess they're the best off-field applicants, like, with the best off-field applications.
You know, that is a big surprise. Chongyun wasn't banned for this round. I would have thought people would see...
I guess if you remove the characters that highly synergize with him, which namely Jean for the cheese stuff and Shanha, Rosaya, Kaya for the high DPS, I believe like he's not that on his own. Is not that much of a threat.
They are running into energy issues here with Charlotte, which is likely costing them a few seconds here and there on each wave.
Yeah. And as you can see, we're gonna. I hope you guys have popcorn and a drink and everything, because those runs. This is not the 30-second blast flash of the first rounds, and not even the 2-minute clears. Pretty clean. Like a couple rotation and we're done. Of the couple last rounds, this is the struggling. We have barely enough DPS to make it, and we're slowly getting there.
Yeah, this is where we start seeing non-3-star clears.
For most people.
It says a lot when the 10th place time is still over 4 minutes long.
That it's barely above, but it is above 4 minutes long. Sufina with another take on this aggravate style. Oron has been used a lot, and Lanyan as well. They
I would
both
say this is pure aggravate. I
Really
think
good.
this is more swirl gravate.
swell grow. Yeah. I mean, I just call all of those type of archetype aggravate because it's the main reaction you're spamming.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's more of a swirl gravate because like it's double animal.
Yeah, and you're using a lot of the. I guess the cooldown reduction is speeding up the spam. And I'm kind of surprised. Kiara is I think the best choice they have for Danger left, because
especially if you have her at C4.
Does she apply more, or does she have like the double E?
C4, I believe, is what gives her reliable off-field Dendro.
Or does she have like an effect around her or something? Like the box has a...
I think it's either activating her skill or activating her burst stat. That allows her to apply periodic amount of Dendro every few seconds. If
Kind of like the
C4.
Kole... Oh, that's almost a 1 minute clear. That's crazy. Yeah, that was slow-ish, but it is a 3 rotation clear on the first side. And second side, we have probably the most Cope Quibloom I've ever seen in my life. But it is doing the thing. It is clearing. Candace is the last Hydro unit that's allowed.
Beyond Hydro character, that Hydro Traveler, but we don't
Hydro
talk
MC.
about that.
I mean, the opportunity cost of Hydro Traveler versus the Dendro Traveler is probably the best. And at this point, we don't have C6 Pyro Traveler, so off-field Pyro with the scroll abuse is not that strong.
Let's be real. What would you rather have? Hydro Infusion on your melee attacks or standing still with a pea shooter?
I mean, do I want the Neuvillette that's level 1 or Dendro application? I believe Dendro application is pretty good. I have heard the YouTubers telling me that Hyper Bloom is the future of free-to-play clears for the past 1 year, and then they completely forgot. Because at this point the Abyss is impossible anyway.
Man, remember when Hyper Bloom was just a turn your brain off sort of team comp? But now, like, obviously there is a very hard ceiling to Hyper Bloom, but like the HP values of the Abyss have just absolutely ballooned in like the past 6 months.
Plus shields, plus... Oh, if you want to clear one side, you need to clear 3 types of shields. A fucking stupid stole mechanics, and I hope you're Natlan as well. So yeah, honestly, this is where, to me, the tournament kind of gets interesting, because you have the same effect of those... I don't know if you've watched some of those tournament formats where they do like a draft system, and they had a lot of heavy limitation on like the amount of artifacts you could bring. So a lot of teams would have like one character with like a DPS like stats maxed out set, and most of the other characters were just like a level 0 Noblesse set or level 0 Instructor set.
You
had a lot of you needed a lot of very creative teams, and you also needed a lot of high skill, because the more rotation you put in, the more you have to be consistently good. I can't imagine the amount of resets you're doing. Those error bites are notoriously awful.
I have to say, the previous round with Tufina
and really bad
their
RNG.
Hyper Bloom was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Now number 8, we have Siamari with 1, they were doing this on their phone. 2, they are probably suffering because they're running beta with Serpent Spine.
They're actually doing this on their iPad.
Or a mobile device of some sort. But as I was saying, like, they are waiting 20 seconds in every attempt because they're running the Serpent Spine on beta.
Yeah.
And if you
We're
don't
not
know,
going to skip on stacks.
If you don't know, you need 20 seconds to max out all the stacks of Serpent Spine. Or near enough 20 seconds. But yeah, they got really unlucky with their lights here, running all over the place, except where they actually wanted them.
Yeah, so I guess we're gonna have around a 130, 140 time clear. So first side, way worse than Zufina, but I guess the second side's gonna catch up.
The taser damage is pretty good.
Yeah, it's working. I think the grouping is much harder. With only one animo.
In the last wave was... The grouping in the last wave was a lot better.
Yeah.
And also, Also, of course, my goat
Oh, that's
Hazel
fine.
at it again. Ooh.
Yep, that is a Sino. I guess he's one of the last 5 stars high single target DPS. So
I do question the position of the Traveler and Lisa Burst location, because that's directly in the opposite direction where the Ruin Grader will spawn.
I mean, they ran out before.
I was about,
I do agree with your
yeah,
take.
like,
Yeah, it's
like
the
I'm
wrong
thinking,
place, but it
I'm
is
thinking, oh, they
great
could
anyway.
like the Ruin Grader will spawn and then will be away from all the bursts, but then all the bursts ended. I'm like, wait a minute, they're not killing these enemies fast enough for that to even matter.
I actually looked at the list. It is the last 5, like, actually quote unquote usable 5-star single target DPS. It's Sino, D-Loop, and then technically Dea and Eula are here, but
Are you forgetting the goat herself, Aloy?
true, Aloy is here. Aloy-
Aloy's here.
Is in fact here, but I don't know what she's gonna do without
You
Shenhe.
could say she's among us,
We could say that.
but we won't.
I don't know if you want to say it. I'm not sponsored by Among Us, so I can't. I'm not gonna give free publicity to
Yeah,
a
that'd be
funny
pretty.
werewolf game.
That would be pretty
It's
a suspicious act, you could say.
Exactly.
I gotta
Plus, I
say,
have a lot of wind in my room.
yeah, the rotations are definitely very smooth, clinical almost.
Yeah. You can tell, Sino player, they like their Sino, they played it a lot.
You can also tell that the first half is infinitely more difficult than the second half because they're just ruin enemies and they're one at a time. Like, you just have to memorize the rotations here and you're fine. Whereas in the first half, you have to deal with Eremites doing 20 gajillion different things, and you need the one run where they do everything the way you want to.
Yeah. Or have 2 groupers and force them to do what you want.
Number 7, Catast.
And
Another
we're
taste-
waiting for... Yeah, and we're waiting again for the stacks.
Yep. If you're running a Claymore character with Serpent Spine, that is the optimal gameplay.
That is your life.
Which is why I pulled Red Horn when I think it was 4.5 during Chiori and Ito's banner. And I'm very grateful I got it, because it's a huge boost for my morale.
I like those weapons that are made for non-attack scalers, and they have this low attack and insane substats. That's usually crit damage, kind of like a Furina's sword.
Can we just say
And-
how insane this footage is?
Very good grouping, yeah. I
Good
was just thinking
grouping.
about it. Except this last one, the first 2 were insane. We're gonna have a sub 1 minute.
Yeah.
That is the first sub 1 minute.
Yeah, really good damage all around from all the characters there, and good grouping from Hazel. I noticed they were running
that's
sack fragments as well, so they could get double skills.
Yeah, I think that's a good play.
Also, Ningguang. Chat,
Yeah.
we have Ningguang. Ningguang
Ningguang.
gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to play
Unironically-
geo damage,
Unironically, a very, very good character at this point of the tournament.
yeah. Probably one of the best single target DPS. Actually, a character I considered building a couple times. But I really don't know why I would ever use her. Although for theater, it's probably a good idea, because I'm very much lacking geo characters. I basically
Learning-
have 3.
Learning to play Ningguang was a massive headache, because she has 2 different attack animations, and if you want to charge attack with her, and if you want to do a charge attack with her, that is, the amount of time it takes to actually do a charge attack depends entirely on which normal attack she does, and it's completely random.
Wait, so every time you start an attack, normal attack chain, it is one of two.
She doesn't have a normal attack chain. She either does one of two normal attack animations.
It's random.
Yes.
Every single time you click, or it just flips
every
between
single
both?
attack she does is one of two attack animations.
Okay. And then, so when you want a charge attack, you have to normal into a charge attack, so it can be randomly slow.
When you do a charge attack, depending on what normal attack animation you did prior, depends on whether you actually do a charge attack or if you're just standing there mashing down the mouse button to actually do the charge attack. There's like some sort of delay or something. Now, I expect someone to say in like the comments, be like, Saff has no idea what the hell she's on about. This is actually how it works, and you know what? That's fair. I don't actually know exactly how she works. I can only tell you my personal experience playing Ningguang in this tournament. Anyway, that is a sub 200.
That is the first sub 200
in the tournament. Yeah, the first sub 200, I believe.
For this round.
Oh boy! More Serpent Spine gaming.
More Serpent Spine? Let's fucking go. Another Hazo aggravates. I mean, yeah, at this point it's like Lanyan or a Hazo for grouping, so gotta do what you gotta do.
Do you want more damage, or do you want a more comfortable clear? Do you want consistency, or do you want to really push for those extra few seconds when the stars align and the Ermites don't do something stupid?
Is Hazo the higher damage, or is it Lanyan?
Lanyan just gives shielding. Hazo has better multipliers, I believe, and gives EM to the team after he casts his burst.
Is it for from Constellation?
His Ascension 4 gives EM.
Okay.
And then, like, he has basically no ER requirements at C4 and above.
Yeah, so pretty easy slotted.
His burst has better crowd control at C2 as well. So this is very similar to what we saw from Crest in 10th place, I believe.
Yes.
Where they ran this exact team, but running Kachina instead of Lynette.
That's the best shredder in history. Today.
So I take back everything I said earlier about how, Kachina is better than Lynette here, or like an animal user. Because clearly, this is the better option. If it takes you a rotation to kill every single enemy, then it makes no difference whether you're running. Then Vivi doesn't really lose as much value as it would if you kill enemies very quickly, like you would in the earlier rounds. Plus, Lynette prioritizes Cryo over Pyro, unlike the other.
Oh yeah, she has the one like the I think the MC is the same thing where he has different priority.
So you have 3 sources of off-field Cryo.
Is the Mavuika sword just the best sword for Diluc?
I don't know.
Like, it's a broken stat stick, so you just use it because it's better than like Wolf.
It's both good, situationally decent, and it's also just a good stat stick. It has a lot of base attack. It goes crit rate. Diluc ascends with crit rate as well, so.
Okay, makes the build comfortable to build to get.
Plus, he can sort of partially make use of its passive too, because he can infuse his own attacks to extend the duration of the weapon's buff. Obviously, it's more effective if you use it on a Natlan character that isn't the Traveler, but we don't have that luxury anymore.
Yeah, we don't really. There just isn't an Atlan Claymore available.
Another sub 200.
Turtle is here with a double Animo. Yes, double Animo.
No.
So
this is
shit, what the fuck?
Animo cheese.
This is Animo cheese. with swirl aggravates.
They're not running
Okay, this
sacrificial.
is kind of funny.
They're not running sack sword on the traveler though. Instead of running sack sword on the traveler, they are instead using Sayu to finish them off. Because Sayu is basically a budget Mizuki.
It's working pretty well.
This is
I think it's the
this is clinical.
yeah, the AMC grouping is really strong. It's one of those. It's a really cool character, and I wish I learned to play this one. It's one of those characters that's on my list of like I should probably build at some point and try to learn.
But you're just gonna build a Scorpion instead, aren't you?
I mean, for this current abyss, probably I'm just gonna cook, and then we'll build the bad characters and have fun with them in different contents.
So we have a
What?
Yanfei overload.
I'm guessing it has to be Anfei Overload. I mean, it can't be Lisa on the damage because she's the best off your source of damage.
Very clinical
guessing-
gameplay from Turtle Camera as always.
Yeah.
Very much working with all that they have, because I believe their roster isn't as extensive as everyone else's. Because I know last
It's
round
highly
they
f-
couldn't use Shenhe because they didn't have Shenhe.
Yeah, I believe it's highly focused. They do a lot of content around the starter characters.
Yeah.
So weirdly, in this tournament, it's both good and bad. The bad is that when you go down, when you're on the top of the list, you can't really use some of the best 5 stars. But when you go down the list, you kind of already have all those characters that are unbanned ready, and you know how to use them effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I imagine,
clean
like,
gameplay.
to us, this looks clinical. But if you ask Turtle Camera, they would be like,
Yeah, he
actually,
missed
I
one
made a
frame there.
I missed one frame here. I made a tiny movement error in frame 5402.
I got the wrong RNG cycle on the laser. It should hit this leg and not the other leg.
Like, bro,
Classic turtle
just,
stuff.
like, bro, just take the W.
Yeah. If I'm not frame perfect 99 times out of 100, it's not good enough.
Can we talk about how this was almost a 3-star clear?
This is kind of insane. Yeah, we're very, very close to a 3-star clear.
You said the I word. You said insane. She's not in this game yet, as of this recording.
Wait,
This
there's
abyss
a
footage
character called
recording-
Insane?
Yeah, insane. You know, insane. The coach, insane from the collective of plenty.
Oh, Yan-san.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have Furu in 4th place, running Lanyan
Yeah.
Taser.
Representing the Teapot. And also organizing and winning his own tournaments. He would be cringe, but he's the nicest person on the planet, so...
You
We're
say
gonna
you're winning the
excuse it?
tournament, but hello, Johan is right there.
Yeah, but Johan is tier 0. I don't count him.
Tier 0.
It's by default. We just give him the cup, and then we're like, okay, who's actually fighting to win?
Very clinical gameplay,
Yeah.
which is impressive considering they at this point of the tournament they are
Yeah, they don't-
still stuck on the phone.
Still stuck on the phone. Can't play on the PC. Overworked as always.
Almost a sub 1 minute.
Dang, that is kind of crazy. That's the best taser time I think we had. Not the best time. Not the best first half time. I think it's still. Who was number 7 or 6?
This. Oh, this is pure aggravate on the second half.
Oh yeah,
Will
It
this
is.
be
Oh,
enough?
it's Dory!
Yeah.
To bring out the Dory again.
Will this be enough to get a 3-star clear?
Yeah, Dory, another character I find really funny and I never really actually took the time to build.
Also, Sack Sword on Dendro Traveler, pretty nuts. Especially with the multipliers on their skill.
Yeah.
Also, is that the talking stick on Dory?
The talking stick? Is there
Yeah.
a claymore that's a talking stick?
The battle pass weapon. It's called the talking stick,
Oh.
isn't it?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's something stick. It's a very niche sort of claymore. I don't remember what it does.
I'm just gonna look it up because you're confusing me. Yeah, it's called talking stick. What the heck is this? 4-star weapon. Attack increased by 32% after 15 seconds. Being affected by pyro. This effect can trigger all element damage will be increased by 24% for 15 after effect cryo, electro, or dendro.
Oh yeah, because Dory self-applies electro, they can proc the passive.
And it has crit rates. It's actually pretty good. It has attack, yeah, decent attack. I think 565. Is it a high?
Ooh,
Or
yeah.
and then like
Furu
18%
was not able to get
crit
it.
rate.
Furu was not able to get a time within 3-star
The
territory.
3-star.
But they still made it
Yeah.
within the time bracket.
Yeah, we're close to a 3-star, but it's gonna be hard to get it.
In third place, we have Chica.
Chica also with a Dory and
Eula. We have Eula.
the Eula. Dude, that's the OG Eula almost. With the Lisa for the defense shred.
Eula,
And I guess
least-
Charlotte's because that's all we have, and Mika.
Yeah,
Is actually good with it.
they're running triple cryo here to
Holy shit. that is-
mitigate Eula's crippling energy issues.
I don't know if this is insane grouping or just restarting the room 200 million times.
I mean, that's what
But-
your average Eula player does. Restart impact.
True.
If the white number isn't big, why even play?
Real. DPS, damage per screenshot. That's why Eula players.
Sorry, did you
Play
say
this game.
Unreal? But this is Unreal. But this is an Unreal
is-
tournament, isn't it?
It's not an Unreal tournament, it's an unimaginary. I know you're still stuck in the 90s and you want to play good video games, but outside of
Honestly,
StarCraft, they're all dead.
that is one of the most insane first halves we've seen. Because it's a sub 1 minute, and it's with an archetype we haven't really seen this entire
Yeah.
tournament, I believe.
It is both it was sub 1 minute, a Eula clear, and a clear with 0 grouping at all. And we're playing Yao Yao, Dory. That is such a base team.
Yep,
That
we
is
got
Hyperbloom Dory. Hyperbloom with the most insanely cope units you've ever seen. But they all synergize so well.
it's a Hyperbloom. I mean, it's Hyperbloom.
Yeah.
It just works.
It's got the bunny, it's got the genie. And we have the only Hydro unit that we have, but it's probably the best Hydro unit for what you're trying to do at this point. Unless you
feel-
have probably Yalan or Qingshou, but I don't even think there's
I
that
feel
much
like
better.
this round will be Hyperbloom's last hurrah. I don't
Yeah,
think
I
we're
mean,
gonna see it.
Hydro
again
is
after this.
just enough people will be like, okay, Hydro is broken, like get rid of it. We're in a weird stage in the ban phase at this point where people are almost considering banning stuff, even if it's strong, just so more people lose or like can't even make it. So they get because if you ban the last couple strong stuff, even if you do have them, you can just invalidate certain people's roster completely.
Okay, but can they get this last rune god killed within the next 15 seconds?
I don't think the DPS journey check. It's gonna be close.
It's gonna be really close.
No, they just don't have
No,
it.
the Dory burst not coming out in time.
Yeah.
Literally
Okay.
like 5 seconds. I mean,
Oh, that is sad, actually. Yeah.
the
That
thing
is
the
4
thing
second
is,
over.
the 3-star clear isn't too important because the time bracket is in between 160 seconds and 200 seconds. It'd just be nice to see a 3-star clear, I guess.
Yeah, it just warms up the soul.
Johan in 2nd place.
Yeah, with Lynette, Sayu, Lisa, Traveler. That is an archetype we've already seen, but it is a completely different set of units from any other one, any other player who did do this type of style. And we almost died.
Sayu carrying.
Yeah, I guess he is mad that we ban his Mizuki, so he's like, okay, I'll bring out the Sayu and do the same thing.
Also, is this the first round after round 1 where he wasn't first?
Probably.
Every other round, he's always
I'm
had the
gonna check
fastest time.
level. He's probably the fastest time in every single round. The first round, no, because we had the crazy Chiori.
I
Chiori
think
thing.
in round 3 we had Tsufina with the C6 Ayaka as well, but beyond that, I think he's been the fastest in every single...
Yeah, he was the fastest last round, and he was the fastest last round. And we have another pure aggravate with Sino, because Johan literally has every single character in the game. And he also plays them well again. This is crazy, crazy fast. For this, at this point in the tournament, that is insane.
Yeah.
Like, most teams we've seen, they barely kill the first Rune Guard with 1 rotation, and they have to almost 1.5 rotate the bigger ones.
To think how much faster this would be if Baiju wasn't banned.
Baiju brings more application, right?
And shielding, and I think... Oh yeah, he could like hold Thrilling Tales as well, and like
Yeah,
whatever
okay,
else.
yeah, it's actually big, because you just have a Kirara on steroids.
You say that, but Kirara has much better shielding than
Yeah,
Baiju
but
in
the
a
like
vacuum.
heavy shielding isn't really what you're looking for here. You're more looking for the application and the GTDS.
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna see our first 3-star.
It does look like it.
Because it's been
Unless he
very
stands still
quick clears.
and doesn't use his inputs for the next 20 seconds.
Also, I love how there's the input indication, so we can see that he's a 300 APM phone gamer.
Oh look, it's me!
And, oh yeah, I was wondering, where were you? And with another Eula clear?
Yes,
With Dory,
the team
kinda
thumbnails
based.
there were incorrect. I actually used Eula on the first half here.
Ooh. Doom, doom. And with a red horn. Yeah, that is one of the funniest thing is when the weapons were wrong.
Yeah, I tried dealing with the first half the way Chica did it, but I found the RNG too annoying. So I thought, why don't I just stand
just
towards the
fight.
wall and let them run towards me? And they became a lot more manageable like this.
So yeah, you just take the time loss of them running towards you, but makes it easier, more consistent.
Oh yeah, it's so much easier like this.
I'm guessing this is just a Pale Flame Eula.
I think it's Pale Flame and Bloodstained, or it's
Yeah,
either
mix of both. Just like good artifact moments. And,
I think it's 2-piece Pale, 2-piece Bloodstained, or 4-piece Pale Flame. Either way, like
yeah, just the
both
good
setups
stuff.
I have are pretty nuts.
And Quick Bloom, Lisa.
Yep, Lisa Hyperbloom. Except it's not just Lisa doing the damage here.
Yeah,
It's,
you're swip swapping.
It's Dendro Traveler.
Yeah.
Because I'm running full DPS gear on her, and they miss splitter.
Okay, yeah.
Look at
We're
it.
gonna press E and it's gonna do 1,000,000 damage.
Yeah, like, did you see the 60Ks?
That is at this one, yeah, that is big nuke. And again, pretty creative because we haven't seen. This is original comp. The archetypes are the same, but you can see people have the preference among the lesser used characters.
Yeah, because we've seen Beidou Hyperloom with Zufina. We saw Dory Hyperloom with Chica.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have
This is Lisa Hyperloom.
Yeah.
We actually, it's kind of you played about the same thing as Chica, but just swapped the Dory and the Lisa.
I also switched
Kind of.
Danger Traveler to a more, like, switch the gear around to be purely DPS.
We don't have all the info on the gear, sadly, but it is one of the more interesting thing about this part of the tournament, because some people don't even have some characters built, so you just throw their support gear on.
Yeah, I basically made the most. I basically made the most of the fact that these rune enemies give a bajillion energy, so
you can be on lower energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is it for the runs. We can run to the results, and the results, I believe,
shockingly,
it is a top 13.
Shocking twist of revelations. Johan didn't finish first, but they did finish in the same time bracket as me, so no one caught up to him, objectively
we can
speaking.
be as good as him, but
that is the best we can do. We can
going beyond Johan is so hard.
Oh yeah.
And Furu, pretty good placement with kind of obvious teams, but it's actually not obvious teams. We have 2 Eulas on the first side, which I believe that's where she actually shines if you play her right. And we've seen 2 excellent gameplay with different strategies. The Chad Chica who just plays into the Aramites and gets an insane time, and I found a good spot. I'll take the slight time loss, but you made it up the second half, so I guess the DPS Traveler making a big difference.
Despite the amount of Aurorons and Beidous and whatnot that we've seen, there's still quite a lot of variety, especially in the second half.
Yeah, the second half has a lot of character variety, and I think the more interesting thing is, even though the concept of like the team archetypes are about the same, there's a lot of variety in like what people have available or prefer to play, which is kind of cool.
And only 13 people submitted a run this round. So, like, this really filtered out the players.
This is filtering out a lot, yeah. Last round was, I think, barely 20-something people, and we started with, I think, 50, almost 50 people.
We started with almost 40, but now we're down to 30.
Okay, it was 40 plus, and now it's after a couple rounds it started going down slowly, and now it's crashing down. I think both the time commitment, because at this point the tournament's been running for over a week, probably closing in on 2 weeks, and also the fact that the amount of investment you need to keep going is quite high. Makes sense that the last couple people are either people who make content or people who play the game a lot and have invested a lot.
The only ones left now are mostly the people who have played probably since the start of the game, well, barely since the first year or so. Also, props to TarZ for running that wacky Geo Traveler team. It would have been cool to see, but
I have no idea what this team is, but it's kind of sick. And with another Eula team, and Wi-Fi sucks.
And Heatle once again, just barely making it.
That's actually a sick first side. That is a Beidou with Lanyan. Like you have a Eula team with Beidou, and then the second side is a Ningguang Thunder Rock with Kachina as
Thunder and Pebble. I'm going to presume that Lanyan is there to shield Eula from being interrupted 50 gajillion times, but we don't have the
you just want both the shields, unless you're just insane with Chica.
Yeah. Anyway, total rankings. Johan maintains first place.
You get 2+2 spots.
Yeah, because I was a time bracket ahead of Chica, and I think at least one time bracket ahead of Turtle as well. So I managed to jump from 4th to 2nd.
Yeah, it was one time brackets. You and Johan were in the highest one at the 160, and then Chica to Cadast were in the 35 points, 200 bracket, and then below.
Geist and Furu creeping up.
Yeah, at this point
Ahead
it's
of
mostly
Saffron.
people who have to keep playing. Wi-Fi sucks stays. Crest plus 3 spots, that is a huge jump. And they barely edged out the 10th place. I think, yeah, it's a lot of the people just couldn't submit a run or didn't have the time.
I'd like to believe that the 3 people here at the bottom, they mostly jumped up the positions because everyone else, like all the 8 players that were eliminated were ahead of them before this round.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a lot of like couldn't submit a run, either because you just don't have the characters or no time, or a little bit of both, honestly. Because you might have 8 characters, but are they invested and like good enough to make it? That's a different story.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it for round 8, isn't it? I am very curious. I think everyone's curious to see just what kind of shenanigans people will be up to next round. I sure can't wait to see people cook up barely functional runs with box of scraps and hopes and dreams.
At this point, even though there's only 13 people playing, there's still quite a big following of the tournaments in the server, and anyone is allowed to vote. So some people are voting to screw with the people remaining, and kind of like in a gladiator match, you know. The people inside are voting to target each other, but we are voting for the fun stuff. So that's why most of the good options or anything that kind of shines once is gonna get blasted usually.
Are you not entertained?
Exactly. So yeah, I don't think Candace is making it through. I think it's the last time we're seeing Hydra units.
We'll have to see in the next round of the Unimaginary Theater.
Exactly.
That will be it for this round. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you next round.
Yep. See you next round.
See ya.